has always been one of one, from a perspective of he brought the culture in the eyes of people in a way that it was never been put on a plate.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. So Kendrick Lamar released a surprise song on his Instagram page, supposedly titled "Watch the Party Die." The radio personality pushing propaganda for salary. Let me know when they turn up as a casualty. The track is the first new music from Kendrick Lamar since he released his smash single "Not Like Us," which was the most successful release amid his back and forth with Drake earlier this year. Not Like Us became one of Kendrick's biggest hits to date, debuting at #1 on Billboard. This release comes on the heels of the announcement of Kendrick Lamar as the performer of the 2025 Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show. It will be the second time he's doing the halftime show, following his featured spot during Dr. Dre's 2022 All-Star Tag Team of himself, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and 50 Cent.
Kendrick and Drake thing that already kind of like died down. We need a new one. That was low hanging fruit. Were you watching all that Kendrick and Drake stuff?
I was hearing a lot about it. It hurt my heart though.
Why? Why so?
Because I like both of them.
Yeah, man, it was hard.
I love both of them, but I gotta admit though, I like the way it resolved.
Right.
Because I felt that Kendrick had never got his just due for what he really contributes to the culture, and this was a way of him getting that without it being forced or politically organized. It was through just pure talent.
Yeah, the art form.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And I thought it was necessary. As talented as Drake is, right? And everybody know me from past conversations, interviews, how I feel about Drake as an artist. I believe he's amazing, right? Kendrick has always been one of one, from a perspective of he brought the culture in the eyes of people in a way that it was never been put on a plate. Like, we say hip hop and the realness of what hip hop's supposed to represent, but in actuality, we didn't really behave in that manner.
Right, yeah, we say one thing and do another.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Kendrick held it and always held that stance and never let it go. And I think it was the fact that he was so committed to that stance that made it seem so much realer than everything else when it came to a battle perspective, because it wasn't about who was the most lyrical. It was the most truthful. And that's where Kendrick killed it.
I heard that, bro. Yeah, and when it was going down, and like I say, you know, I'm from the West Coast. I love Kendrick, and for me to love Kendrick, I never hated Drake. You know, we didn't drop a Drake record, and we didn't like, you know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. But I saw what it did, and you know, people say, "Oh, what it did for the culture," and I've been through somewhere it didn't end as well.
No, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You got to think, especially in our generation today, present. Rap battles is the cause of about 40% of hip hop deaths.
Right. Yeah, man.
Like literally, just the rap battles, especially when you look at these drill artists.
Oh my God, bro! I was gonna say that.
They dropping each other left and right.
Yeah, man.
And they smoking each other on social media.
Yeah, bro.
Like, yeah, I did this. What's up? What we doing?
Yeah.
Like it's real life for them. You know what I'm saying? So that right there was a scary moment for me, because it kind of reminded me of what the Pac and Biggie situation was. But if it would have went beyond that, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was going there.
Yeah.
Because one thing about the West Coast, they don't play about that. None of that. Like, they don't just listen. Back when I was in the street back then, if I had an issue, I would depend on my West Coast guys before I would depend on my East Coast guys. I'm being 1,000%. Because if it was time for smoke, these on the West Coast side, it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't no conversation.
And the thing that I was hoping too is that, like, Kendrick and Drake, they not gonna meet up and see somebody and they just start squaring up.
Right.
It's the circles
it's
too,
the
though.
Circles.
And then sometimes it's not even the circles. It could be somebody that never slapped hands with Drake, never slapped hands with Kendrick
at all,
and take it on.
Because everybody, like, especially right now, when you're looking at it's a clout culture.
Oh my God.
Right. So everybody looking for that stripe on social media, looking for that stripe just in general. Just say, okay, I handled that for you.
Yeah, man.
Like, bro, I ain't asked you to handle that for me.
Right? Yeah, like, no, you didn't do that for me, bro. Be like, man, take that post down.
Especially in a time where the RICO laws now are in full effect. You don't even want none of that smoke in no kind of description by any means.
Yeah, it's crazy because the lockup is real now.
Man,
too.
It's real. They grab them by the group. It ain't by just one person. Yeah. Because you influenced everybody.
As soon as they put RICO and racketeering,
it's a wrap. Boom.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Hell yeah, man.
Now everybody knows in the backdrop Sean Carter, that you promised the South that the next time the Super Bowl came through, it would be a Louisiana affair. And then when Diddy goes and gets into trouble and you need to convince the white people you're still in control, you bring Kendrick Lamar, who we already know you don't like for the way he embarrassed you on Don't Kill My Vibe, the remix. But we also know
Up in the closet.
you got ties in TDE, Sean Carter, and you got a switch on top. I know that. I know that for a fact. Just like why you keep having artists that want to jump off of high places. Shout out to Ab Soul.
Oh.
What was her name? Alori Joe?
Oh.
That woman threw herself from a control tower and impaled herself with spikes right before she was about to sign the TDE. And her fiance, Ab Soul, threw himself off the freeway out of grief and survived.
Mm-hmm.
Why are all of the artists at TDE so unhappy? You got some of the best artists in the West there. Why did Kendrick Lamar feel the need to leave and start his own? And why is he able to release more records now that he's not at TDE?
So
Interesting.
let me ask you, as you're on this topic.
I tell you one thing, Curtis Jackson, you are a setup king. And I promise you this, any little nigga that you're enlisting to go down to New Orleans and start trouble during the Super Bowl, that will stop. That will stop. I'm sick and tired of you. And the truth is, they only like you for your money.
So let me ask you, Jack, on a surface level, you're saying that Kendrick being in the Super Bowl versus, let's say, Wayne, which was like a shoe-in for the city, that in the background, and again, we talked about the mayor, it's a lot more to it than just as simple as, oh, Kendrick's he had a great year.
Social engineering, creating an issue that didn't need to be an issue.
I hear that. Like Hunger Games, like.
Very Hunger Games. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. I tell you one thing, it's been almost 30 years since Biggie and Tupac were taken from us. That was social engineering at its finest. It got people in line, didn't it?
Without question.
Now you think about Drake right now and you think about Kendrick Lamar. That's looking about the same as Biggie, Kendrick. Biggie, Kendrick, Tupac, Drake. Think about the comparisons.
Yep.
Imagine. Be a gangster playing. Imagine
Comparisons.
if the same fate that befell Biggie and Tupac happened to Drake and Kendrick.
Just imagine.
And as messy as Drake is right now, I can almost bet that there's somebody that wants to turn his faucet off. Because if y'all think Diddy is a mess, Drake, he was being groomed to be next in line. See? What happens when the real details of what happened to Triple X come out? What happens when Jonathan Hay finally starts putting all of the pieces together on why he was put in that home invasion robbery with his daughter? because he's remembering more now. He's been talking with Truth Is here on YouTube, and he's been saying even more now than he said here. Shout out to Jonathan Hay and your bravery.
Shout out Jonathan Hay. We will get him on the couch soon because